Hello and welcome to another Tabletop Ramblings SBG Battle Report. Countless battles have been fought in Rohan, and too many of their proud warriors lie unburied on the battlefield, as the forces of Middle-earth vie for dominion of this proud land. One man is willing to sacrifice everything to hold on to his ancestral lands. Helm Hammerhand, the hero of the annals of history, is fighting for good today, leading his Rohan force. In Helm's warband, he has 2 mounted royal guard with throwing spear, and 6 warriors of Rohan with throwing spear and shield. He's also got with him his faithful captain, his lieutenant. He's on a horse with shield and heavy armour, and he's also got 8 warriors with throwing spear and shield. This is the Helm Hammerhand Legion. So Helm Hammerhand has some extra rules. He gets Mighty Hero and a free heroic combat each turn, on top of just generally being incredible. And throwing spears for this legion count as normal spears for support. Implacable in their hatred of all men, the Dark Legions of Sauron have advanced. They're led today by the Mouth of Sauron. He is on heavy horse, and he's got with him 3 warg riders, all with shield and 2 with throwing spear. He's backed up by his captain, Scully, there with a shield. He's a Moranon orc captain, and he's got with him 5 Moranons with shield and 6 with shield and spear. And they've brought with them Bessie, the Great Beast of Gorgoth, to back them up and provide them with extra numbers and bow fire. The game today is capture and control. It's all about those 5 objectives. One placed in the centre and then the others around it and the points of a compass. Those objectives are each worth 2 points if they are in your control at the end of the game. And then there's just 1 point for killing the enemy leader or wounding them, and then 1 for breaking. So those objectives are very, very important. To take an objective, you just have to be touching it at the end of the turn with one of your models. It doesn't matter if they've done anything, magic, shooting, fighting, as long as they're touching it uncontested at the end of the turn. And an objective that's been claimed, once you move off it, will still be yours. Once one force has been broken, we roll a dice, and on a 1 or a 2, the game will end. Deployment is just anywhere up to the halfway line, so it's going to be straight into the thick of it. And as we've already seen the armies, let's head into deployment. So this is the table after deployment. Evil rolled to deploy first and decided to put the beast in the middle just to see how Rohan would respond. The captain then went down, quite non-committal, just back from the 6-inch line so that they can throw and just to see what would happen. And again, baiting out the Moranons just went down there. And then the last warband for Rohan was Helm. He placed his troops just out of 6 of the wall of infantry, not knowing quite where the cavalry were going to come in. And then they came in behind there with 1 warg rider up there to get the objective. This one is ready to be tagged, and then that lone warrior there from the captain's band for that one for some early objectives. So we'll go into turn 1, priority. And it goes to Evil. So with Evil having priority, they kept the warg rider on that objective to claim that at the end. They just moved an orc across to block the path of the beast so that it could advance a little bit without having to do its full 8-inch stampede. And then here, shuffling across with a little bit of blocking terrain there just to try and form a shield wall. They've got ready to claim this objective, and then importantly the Mouth of Sauron did a transfix that went off only on a 3 on Helm, but he decided that he'd save his will for a more crucial moment. Over here, the Rohan captain and some of his buddies have formed up behind this tree so they can't get charged, and they're a little bit more sheltered from the hail of arrows that are about to come out of the howdah as we go into the shoot phase for turn 1. Into the shoot phase, there are 6 orcs in the howdah that have a shot
at Helm Hammerhand. They'll be hitting on 5s, and they'll have an in the way for that chap there. So they just get 1 hit. So 4+ to get past him. They don't, so they hit him. And no, they would need a 6 to wound. So their archery has not been successful. Returning fire, there's these 4 are going to throw their spears on them. They have not moved, so they'll be hitting on 4s. So 2 hit. And they'll be wounding on 6s. So unfortunately that volley is unsuccessful. There's then these 4 that have moved, but he has only got a shot on him. So we'll do him first. He hits again, another 6 to wound. Not quite. And then those 4 into them. 2 hit because they've moved. No wounds. And up here we've got 2 that are going to go into the chap who is driving the beast. So there's just 2 of them. They both moved, so they miss. And then here we've got 2 that are in range of that chap on the ground with him in the way for the tree, but they both miss. So that is all the shootings. There's no combat, so we'll go into priority for turn 2. As we end turn 1, we have 1 objective there and 1 up there, turning to the forces of Mordor. And here and down here we have 2 for Rohan, so it's 2 apiece, and we'll roll for priority for turn 2. And again it goes to Mordor. We are towards the end of the movement phase for turn 2. Helm used his 3-point might for Mighty Hero to call a heroic move, which went uncontested, so that he could get the charge off against those orcs. His warriors with him charged in through their throwing spears, but all failed to hit the mark. He was able to get these 2 warriors out of the path of the beast, and everyone else shuffled around for 3rd turn charges. Over here, once the beast had ploughed forward, the warriors of Rohan, who had been hiding behind the tree, shuffled round again, still playing cat and mouse with the beast. The warrior that was stopping the beast from moving moved across to unleash it, and the rider from up there came down. The mouth and the people around him haven't moved yet, and we're here because the mouth is going to spend another of his 4 will on a transfix on Helm. On a 1, so it does not go off. So that leaves him with 2 will left, and we'll come back after he has moved. The mouth has finished his movement. He moved over there. The captain decided to stay where he was, so that if Helm does break through, he'll have a chance of calling a heroic move and stopping him. And then the Warg Riders move round so that they can start to take the fight to the enemy behind this shield wall. And so that is all of the movements, and we'll go into the shoot phase for turn 2. There are 5 orcs with a shot onto Helm, so they will be hitting on 5s. Only 1, so 4 1s and a 5. So on a 1, 2 or 3 it will go past Helm and hit one of the orcs he's fighting. Oh, and it does. And a 6 to wound. Oh dear! And the first blood goes to friendly fire. There we go. That is that side of the orc archery. And then there are 3 here that are going to have it in the way on the tree to hit that captain. Again, needing 5s. 1 hit. 4+ it gets past the tree. It does. Does it hit the rider or the mount? It hits the rider. So needing a 6x4 because he's defense 7. A 6! 4+ to wound that captain from a plucky orc archer. Oh, so close. And that is the shooting from the Howder. These 2 wargs have throwing spears, and they're going to throw at that chap. They've moved, so they will be hitting on 6s. So it's a bit of a long shot. 1 does hit. Does it get past the statue? Yes, it does. Another 5+ will wound. And it's a 6! Massive orc shooting, redeeming itself there. And so that is the evil shooting, and we'll go into any retaliatory fire from Rohan. Shoot phase with this rider. He's going to throw his spear into that warg. He misses. We then have these 3 who have moved, and they're just going to throw at the beast. 1 hits. This will be 6s. Oh no, just a 1. We then have these 2 who have straight shot. They have shots on the beast, but with that big tree in the way. 1 does hit. 4+ to get past the tree. No, and it just sinks into the tree. So far, Mordor shooting far superior to Rohan. And we'll go into the combat. So with the Legendary Legion, Helm Hammerhand gets a free heroic combat every turn. So he's going to call that. And despite it being Evil's priority, that is the one that will go first. And he most definitely wins that to straight 1s. And then to wound that poor chap. He is strength 5 burly, so he needs something ridiculous like 4s. And he absolutely annihilates him. So that chap is down. Spearman doesn't give way, and then his heroic move is straight into them. So that is where we might as well go next. So Helm on the charge with 4 against 2 chaps. He only wins on fight value, 3 high. So on the first chap, again needing very low, 6 will do it, and then the remaining 6 dice. One of those is a red one because we can't find another. Yeah, absolutely annihilates him with his 2-handed sword, burly and strength 5. He can cut through most things with ease. The rest of the fights then will start on this side. The spear support has been whipped out by the throwing spears of the Warg Riders, so he is going to shield now that his friend has died. Oh, and it is not going to be enough. So, needing only 5s to wound from those Moronons, and they get him. So he is down. A big hole now in the shield wall. A 2-on-2. Rohan really looking to get some wins. Here we go. So another 6 to get the kill. Get past that tough armour, and he gets it. Pushing him back and killing an orc. And taking himself with him. Fortunately, he didn't stab. So, 4-on-2. And it goes to good. Needing 6s. No, they don't get past that armour. So he backs away. And that is how things are looking at the end of turn 3. The objectives changing hands. The good player has managed to get the objective on the left flank, but then lost the objective in the centre as the beast trampled up over it. So with Helm rampaging through and the beast about to do a rampage of its own, we'll go into turn 3 priority. And again it goes to Evil. Over here on the right flank, Helm, wanting to keep his momentum, is going to use his free point of might to call a heroic move, and Scully the captain is going to try and save his life by countering with his own. So on a 1, 2 or 3, it goes to Evil. On a 4, 5 or 6, it goes to Helm. So Helm will get to move first. Through the movement phase again. The heroic move off going to Helm managed to allow him to tag up quite a bit, but he was out of position because of his charge last time and his heroic combat. So quite a few didn't get to move, including this chap who's been countered by the Warg Rider during Evil's move. This Warg Rider's come in. This one has come in and turned off the cavalry bonus from Helm. And over here, some extra combats here. An orc joining the mouth. We're back though because the beast is about to move, and Helm is just inside of 8 inches now that the beast has pivoted, and we've measured that up. It is actually within 8 inches. So if he can run over that chap and that chap, he will just be able to get in on Helm. So as the beast charges forward, it hits him, needing 4s to wound. Oh, and it doesn't get him. So unfortunately it stops there in contact with him. It's going to fight him and see if it can smash him to bits. but unfortunately was unable to quite reach Helm Hammerhand. So that is the end of Evil's move, and we'll come back with the rest of... At the end of the movement phase, the only things that have happened is that rider there, that Royal Guard rather, has come in to help his friend out on that Warg Rider. One of the warriors has run up to try and get that objective. Same for that objective over there. And then these two warriors and the captain have come up. The warriors are just outside of the 8-inch charge range of the beast, protecting their captain from bowfire, and the captain is within 10 of the beast, so he will be able to stop it next turn with a heroic. So that is the end of the movement phase for turn 3, and we'll go into shoot phase. These 4 bowmen at the back are going to shoot at that captain's horse, and none of them hit. That is unfortunate for the orcs. Then we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 shots into Helm and his combat, which is a lot better. That is 3 hits. The orcs in the howdah, even though the beast has moved, they never count as moving for the purposes of shooting. So into Helm. Do they hit the guys in front? So 1 hits the spearman in front, does nothing, and then these 2 into the combat. Both hit. Either the orc or warg rider, will work out in a moment which that is. In fact, we'll do that now because it might be warg or rider. Rider is closer, so we'll do mount or rider. Both on the rider, and it will be 6s to kill him. No, fortunately the orcs didn't kill their own warg rider. And so now we'll go into good shooting. So over here on the left, these 2 deliberately went to outside of 8 so that they couldn't be charged, but they're also means that they are out of throwing spear range. So there's just this one chap trying to take the objective. He is going to throw into one of the orcs up in the howdah because the beast is in combat. But he misses, unfortunately. So that is the end of the shoot phase, and we'll go into the combat phase. So Helm's heroic combat is separate to his extra might per turn. So he's going to call that because there's no reason not to. He may well fluke it. So it will be Helm with just 3 dice because he's been countercharged by cavalry. 3 in green against the captain with the little ones, and then the big one is the warg rider. And it goes to Evil. So Helm only has 1 might to protect his horse. So he is going to spend 2 points of might from his store to boost his 4 into a 6 to win that combat. He's already called a heroic move with his 3, so he's now down to just 1 might. He's burnt a lot of resources to win that fight. He really needs to get some kills in here to make it all worthwhile. So he is strength 5 on the defense 7 captain, would be 5s, but with his 2-handed burly makes it 4. So he's going to do the first 2 on the captain. Only 1 there, so his last one on the captain as well. No, so just 1 wound on the captain, which the captain will take and save his fate for later. So they are backed away, and the heroic combat does not go off. So the rest of the combats then, we'll just do them in order. We have 2 on 1 here, and the riders, the Royal Guard rather, do lose, but they are both fine. Strength 4 on the warg there, and their d6 would have still only been 5s to wound, but that was not enough. Here he's going to shield against 2 and lose again, needing 5s to kill him. Oh, but double 1s, not enough. They do, however, from their Mordor army bonus, get to re-roll 1s when outnumbering, and despite not having that many on the field, they outnumber quite considerably because this is 11. The beast, the driver, and the 9 archers. So still outnumbering Rohan. They get to re-roll those, and double 1s into double 6s. That is a warrior of Rohan smashed to pieces. Next we have a shielding warrior against the charging cavalry, so he'll have 2. And the Moronon. And again it goes to Evil. So needing 5s from the warrior. Doesn't quite get him, and then needing 5s also from the cavalry. These are all doubled up because he's been knocked prone, and that kills him. So that is another warrior of Rohan dead. Things are a little bit more favourable for Rohan here, where we have 3 on a shielding orc. He will be tracked, so he will shield and loses. So these will be re-rollable, they're double strikes, but still needing 6s. So nothing there. 5, 2 and a 1. Again, looking for 6s. And there we go. Being trapped has killed him. So these guys then just back away because they were doing the trapping. And then we have a 2 on 1. Again, he's going to shield. And good have won with that 6. But still needing 6s to get through that tough Morannon armour. And a 5, not enough. So he backs away. And then the last fight is the Mouth of Sauron. He didn't charge. He's with an orc. And they are against a poor shielding warrior. So the mouth on the little ones and the orc on the big one. And 4 and a 1, not quite enough to beat the mouth. And the Mouth of Sauron, strength 4, has cut him down with that 5. So he is dead. So that's quite a brutal turn for Rohan. Helm not quite performing as he needed to there. And that is the end of the combat. At the end of turn 3, the objectives have changed hands again. The central one has swung to Rohan. That's what the loom bands are. The blue for Rohan and the purple for Mordor. This is how the battlefield is looking at the end of turn 3. And at the end of turn 3, this is how the battlefield is looking. The objective in the centre is turned to Rohan in the blue. And there's still those 2 for Mordor. The Rohan position is looking a little bit shaky now in the centre. Helm has cut his path through, but he's stalled on the captain, and the beast is coming up right behind him. This could start to get very, very messy indeed. So we'll go into turn 4 priority. And it goes to good on that draw. So we'll see if there's going to be any heroics. So with the positioning of that captain able to get onto the beast in a heroic move, the decision to heroic move has been a little bit more complicated for the 2 forces. If the beast calls a heroic move, it will have to 4+ on 2 dice kill 3 people before it can get to Helm. But if the captain calls it, then the beast won't be able to move. And if he calls and Helm counters and the captain calls, then the beast won't be able to move. So it's a bit of a gamble, but the evil player is going to use the might point of the beast to call a heroic move and try and get onto Helm the long way. And that is being countered by the captain up there. Because all of the might for evil is within that one concentrated point, there's no need to call one with any other, because Helm would counter call, and if he wins he'll be able to shut them all down. The big roll off, 1, 2 or 3, it goes to evil. 4, 5 or 6 it is good, but that is a 2, so the beast will get to move. So we did in fact forget to do this combat here, the beast against him, so we'll just quickly do that now. But shielding has fended off the beast and he just backs away. The beast never needing to back away, so it's not made any difference there, and we'll get on with that charge. So the beast advances, hits the first warrior of Rohan and needs a 4+ and kills him. He is down. Then hits the second and kills him. The other one and kills him. Unbelievable rampage there as it runs on and hits Helm. So on his horse it does 1 wound, which Helm will fate. And he saves it with his only point of fate. So then these doing wounds to Helm on a 5, I believe. We'll double check that. A 5. So that could well be a wound. We'll just double check. Yes, we double checked. A 7 for defence on Helm, but strength 6 from the beast does see that 5 to a wound. And with only 1 fate spent to keep his horse alive, Helm goes down to 2 wounds and no fate. Unbelievable charge there, leaving Helm with just 2 warriors with him, and in a very difficult situation to get himself out of, we go to Good's move, starting with the captain's heroic move. This is the board at the end of turn 4 movements. Everything's gravitating towards the right hand side of the board. This rider, this Royal Guard, managed to get in on those 2 orcs, but he was then countercharged by a warg rider. There's the 2 cavalry in contact there, and then importantly this warrior passed his courage test to charge the beast, which meant that nothing else could charge Helm, because then otherwise it would pull the beast off. Everything is just getting overwhelmed really, but importantly again another courage test passed. That warrior managed to stop the mouth from casting or charging, and this warrior is taking on the captain and the warg rider again just to try and buy Helm some time. So that is how things are looking at the end of the movement phase. And just these 2 as well with their captain. They advanced full, taking the logic that if the beast is going to charge anyone, it's probably going to be Helm. So we'll go into the shoot phase. So everything is engaged in combat, but these 2 do have shots on the archers in the howdah because they don't count as being in combat. They've moved, so they're hitting on 5s. 1 hits. Does it get past the howdah? No. It hits the howdah. Does it wound it? It does a wound to the howdah. That's his throwing spear there at strength 3 on defense 8 for the howdah. His 6 is by 4, so that has to be re-rolled. Oh, so that is not a wound to the howdah. The orcs up there, however, do now get their bow shots and they will retaliate. How do we have 5 orcs at the back who are going to take shots at the captain? It's quite a lot of hits there. Do they hit the chaps in front? 2 do. And they do nothing with 1s. This one, horse or rider. It hits the rider, but it doesn't do anything. And then over here at the front, there are just these 2 that are going to have shots onto Helm. 1 hits. Does he hit the beast or Helm? He hits the beast, unfortunately. But a 2. It does not wound. So that is the end of the shooting phase, and we'll come back with the combat. We're into the combat phase, and the Mouth of Sauron is in range of charging him to protect the objective if he calls a heroic combat. So he is going to call a heroic combat. And Helm is also going to call a heroic combat, but only because it's free. The odds of him taking down all 4 wounds off the beast are incredibly slim. So we'll come back with that roll for whose heroic goes first. It does go to the mouth, so we'll do that combat now. Combat here, a heroic combat from the Mouth of Sauron. The Mouth of Sauron will be the big dice. The little red dice will be the orcs, and then shielding in green for the Man of Rohan, who wins the combat quite convincingly there with a 6 to Evil's 4 high. So they back away, and that is a wasted point of might. Well done, little man that can. We then have Helm Hammerhand's heroic combat. Helm and the brave warrior there against the beast. The beast has 3 dice. Helm with 3 because he didn't charge, and 1 for the warrior. And the warrior takes the fight there. And then Helm will be wounding here on 5s because of his strength 5 barely, and it will be 6s from the fella. And that is 1 wound on the beast. So we'll do that courage test straight away to see if it will stampede. A 7. Nice and easy there from the driver's courage 4. Up to 5 with their army bonus. The next combat there is the captain and a warg against a guy who is shielding. So we'll do the warg rider in the big, the captain, and shielding. And again, shielding saves the day. You hero. Which crucially makes this objective contested now. So him staying alive there was quite big. And then last fight we have the Royal Guard against 3. So the Royal Guard is mounted, so he's unable to shield, so he's just going to have to rely on his fight value and some serious luck. Oh, and he gets it! Yes! So he is going to strike at the Warg Rider. He's only an orc atop there, so it's just a 5 to wound him. And that is another big 6, so he has killed the Warg Rider. Courage test for the Warg, which stays. So we'll dismount him, and these back away. We did jump the gun slightly there, thinking it was the last combat. There's this one here, which is a 1-on-1. And again, it goes to good, and again he needs a 5 to turn these tables. And it is the 5! Absolutely brilliant. Does the Warg stay? No. Oh, yes, it does with the army bonus. +1 to courage. So that is 2 riders dead, but 2 wargs remain. Table at the end of turn 4. Rohan are broken and are in a very, very precarious position. But they do have 4 objectives, and this objective is contested. So if the game goes on for quite a while, Good will probably lose too many men. But if they can just hold out, hold these objectives, and let the game end, then they will clutch victory. So this is going to be close. Let's go into turn 5 priority. For turn 5. And it goes to good. So for heroics, the beast is going to call and Helm will counter. The Mouth of Sauron is not going to call, and neither is the captain. And that captain is going to save his might. So it is another roll-off between the beast and Helm. 1, 2 or 3. The beast. Oh, the beast wins. And he's going to run straight into Helm. And that is going to hurt. So the beast plows straight into Helm and hits his horse. Doesn't kill his horse. But Helm, it will be 5s to wound. And he has no fate. So 2 5s will kill Helm Hammerhand. Oh, unbelievable. And that is Helm Hammerhand dead. That is absolutely massive for the forces of good, who are broken and leaderless. And so after that heroic move, we go into Good's movement. The end of the movement phase, quite a few Rohirrim ran away. A Royal Guard here ran because he was bodyguarding Helm, who is now dead. This Royal Guard managed to pass and charge the Warg up here. This chap has passed and is hoping beyond hope to stay alive, to keep that one contested. Here, these managed to stay alive, including this guy who charged the Mouth, passing his test to stay and to charge. He has, however, been surrounded with a possible heroic combat slingshot coming off there. The captains managed to pass his courage test to stay and rally his warriors, and to pass again to charge the Mouth to try and stop him from going off with a heroic move. And then these two are staying near this objective. They couldn't get into any fight, so they're just trying to stay out of range of the beast next turn. And so we will go into the shoot phase. So with those two out of range of the beast and everything here in combat, it's evil shooting. So these 3 are going to shoot into this combat where the Rohirrim has charged, and they all miss anyway. There's then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 into those open warriors, and 1 hits, hitting on a 5, wounding on a 6, but no wounds there. And so that is all of the shooting, and we'll go into the combat phase. So here, there's a bit of a might explosion with heroic combats. Scully declaring first because it was Evil's, because Good had priority, so Evil declared first, and Scully is going to heroic combat with those 2, probably going into the captain because the Mouth is also going to call. So Good have responded by also calling heroic combat. Now that captain doesn't really have any chance of killing him, but if he can use his combat first, it will negate the mouth's combat and stop the mouth being able to move off, and hopefully just trying to stop the objectives turning as quickly as they may otherwise to evil, because the longer good hold on to these objectives, the more likely they are to still clutch victory in this game. So that is a heroic from all three there, and this roll-off is going to be quite important. On a 1, 2 or 3 it's evil, and it goes to the captain. So fortunately for Rohan, the captain of Rohan has won the roll-off, and he'll be able to do the Mouth of Sauron's heroic move first, which is not the sequence that evil want it to be done in. Ooh, the mouth does win, and he'll be wounding on 6s. So he will put the first on the horse, strength of 4 on defense 4. He kills the horse, and then he doesn't wound the man. So he will take a prone rider test, and he is fine but prone. So we'll grab his dismount. He is now prone. So then the next heroic combat will be the captain. So this could really, the orc captain that is, and this could really be the end for Rohan. So we have 2 from the captain, 2 from the charging warg, and 1 from the orc. Now the captain is out of might. In fact, the captain does have 1 might, so we'll do him separately. But it's not looking good for Rohan there. Now he is tracked, so these will all be the warg rider, and gets him easily on that 5 and the 6. So they can move, and we'll come back with that in a second. So with Rohan going into this turn broken, the game could end on a 1 or a 2 at the end of this turn. So that rider, instead of getting the knockdown on that now dismounted captain, has gone off to claim that objective. This warrior has gone to neutralise this one, having models from both sides. It will go back to neutral, and then the captain is going to duel the Rohan captain. So we'll go into the combats from this phase. So starting down here, we have a 1-on-1. In fact, a 2-on-1, because the rider charged. Oh, but he loses. Strength 4 on the warg will be 5s to kill him. Fortunately, he survives. We then have this warrior here against 2, who needs to survive to keep that being neutral. He will shield. It's a draw. And it goes to evil, so needing 5s on 2 dice and 2 6s see him well and truly butchered. So that will now turn to evil at the end of this phase. Here we have a 1-on-1. The warrior of Rohan is going to shield, and he wins just on that 3. Every Rohan life is precious now. There's a speed bump to try and stop the enemy from advancing. And here, the last combat is the captain on captain duel. Both fight value of 4, both 2 attacks. It's a draw. They both have a point of might, but neither will spend. They'll go to the roll off, and it goes to good. So looking for 6-ish, strength 4 on defense 7. That is 1 wound. So he will take that wound and back away. So in fact, the captain won't just take that wound, because Helm, right at the beginning, dealt a wound to the captain. So if he doesn't pass this fate, he is actually dead. So on a 4+ he survives, but on a 1, 2, 3... Oh, and the captain absolutely. So this is the board at the end of turn 5, I believe. And it is 2 objectives apiece. 2 for Rohan there and 2 for Mordor there, with the centre contested. It's looking very bleak now for Rohan. And we will roll to see if the game ends. The earlier this ends, the better for Rohan. And on a 4, it continues. So we will go into turn 6 priority. Turn 6 goes to good. Their duel from last turn. Both captains are going to call heroic moves. And on a 1, 2, 3, it's evil. on a 4, 5, 6. It's good, and a resounding 6 there. Good, get to try and defend that objective. So in the centre, after winning the heroic move, good, managed to tag the mouth and the captain. The captain there passing his courage test to stay and to charge the terrifying mouth of Sauron. And here, those two warriors charged in on that orc there, all touching the objective to try and claim it for next turn. Down here, the rider, the Royal Guard rather, passed his courage test. He's no longer bodyguarding, and came back to the objective to try and hold it. And then both of these wargs charged into him, one of them touching the objective, so if they can win, they could well claim that. Here, this brave warrior passed his courage test to stay and to charge the back of the beast, and then two orcs have piled onto him. And then this warg rider over here, if the game does continue, is straight through onto that objective. So this is how things are looking at the end of the movement phase, and we'll go into the combat. So down here on this objective, we have two wargs against a Royal Guard. He's mounted, so he's unable to shield. Oh, and the fight has gone out of him. He's wounded on 5s, and he is down. And so that is one less defender. And that warg there, oh dear, that warg there is going to take the objective from Rohan. Here we have 2 and the beast on a very shielding warrior there. And so that is 3 from the beast and 2 from the orcs against a shielding warrior. Warrior does his best, he does get 5 high, but so many 6s from the forces of evil. And then they annihilate him there with a 6. And he is down. So we then come to the centre and we have 2 on 1. He's going to fight. Oh, and it's a draw. 1, 2, 3 evil. 4, 5, 6. That 5. Clutching it there. Needing 60s to get him off that objective. And they get him off and kill him. And there he goes. So they have reclaimed the central objective. And then here, that captain will shield. And the forces of evil will just attack normally. So there's no might in this fight. In fact, there's no might on the board anymore. So the strength 4 attacks from the mouth and from the warrior will be the little red dice. And strength 5 Moranon captain there, Scully, will be the big red dice. And then the 4 for the captain who is shielding. Oh, but it goes to evil. And it is not looking good for that captain. So it's strength 5 for the captain will need 5s. And the 4s from the warrior and the mouth will need 6s. Oh dear. And that is 2 6s there. That one not re-rollable because it is from the captain. But these 2 6s could be the end of the captain. He has 1 fate, which he fails. And he goes down to the blades, picks and spears of the enemy. And so this is the field of battle at the end of turn 6. There at the end of turn 6, the objectives have swapped over. This warg claimed this objective, and here those 2 Rohirrim managed to fight off the orcs and claim the central objective. But they are now the only 2 warriors of Rohan left on the field. So on a 1 or 2, the game will end and they will live. But if it's a 3+, it could be a tabling for the forces of Rohan. And the game continues. 7 priority. And it goes to the forces of evil. In a very brief movement phase, this warg rider came down to claim that final objective. And here, not quite able to get traps in on those 2 warriors. The captain and 2 spearmen are on that warrior. And the mouth has charged that one. There are bowmen up here, but they're not going to risk hitting either their captain or the mouth. And so we'll go straight into the combat phase. So here we have this warrior who will most definitely be shielding against 2 orcs in the smaller dice and the captain in the bigger dice. And he does not put up a valiant enough effort. And it could be the end of him. And he goes down to 2 6s. The spearman and the captain hacking him to pieces. And now everything rests on this one last warrior to not go down to the charging mouth of Sauron. So he will shield. The mouth getting an extra dice for charging. And the mouth is fended off. And this warrior has survived another turn, keeping this contested. This is how things are looking at the end of turn 7. The 4 outer objectives have all gone to Mordor, but the central objective is still neutral as the one remaining warrior of Rohan holds off the evil orcs. And on a 1, 2 or 3, the game will end. On a 1 or 2 rather, the game will end. And it is a 2. The game has ended and Rohan are not quite tabled, although I think the victory points will be quite conclusive there. We'll have a quick tally up and we'll come back. The end of the battle, and it is 10-0 to Mordor. Mordor have 2 for each of their objectives, which is 8. No one has anything for that central one, which is contested. And then Mordor gained 1 for killing Helm Hammerhand, whereas the Mouth of Sauron is alive, and 1 for breaking Rohan, which, with only 1 model left, is very conclusive. Mordor did lose quite a few of their warriors, but with the sheer numbers in the Howdah, they still have more than Rohan started with, which is a conclusive 10-0 victory to Mordor. This has been an SBG Battle Report by Tabletop Ramblings. Please do like, comment and subscribe, and I'll see you next time.